He gonna swing on me. I ain't did nothing to that man, bro.
Atlanta's nightlife is always full of surprises, but last night took things to a whole new level. The city's hottest club was buzzing, music blasting, lights flashing, and a crowd filled with famous faces and socialites. Everyone was there to have fun. But not all came with good intentions. Tension was in the air as three well-known people showed up with a score to settle, and things quickly got intense.
I just had to cool off, right? Just get my mind right, man, you know. But I really gotta get this off my chest, man.
The energy in the VIP section was electric, but something about the scene felt different. Kirk Frost and Yung Joc, usually full of laughter and loud conversation, were unusually quiet. Both were sharply dressed, sitting in their booth like royalty overlooking the room, but their expressions gave away that something was on their minds. They held drinks but barely touched them. Instead, their eyes scanned the crowd constantly, like they were looking for someone. Joc leaned in to speak to Kirk, who gave only the slightest nod in response, his eyes fixed on the dance floor. To a casual observer, they looked relaxed, maybe just enjoying the night. But anyone paying close attention could tell their body language told another story. This wasn't a casual night out for them. They weren't here to celebrate. They were here for a reason, and it had nothing to do with partying. From their booth, they had a clear view of the entire room, and they weren't wasting it. It was obvious. They were waiting for someone specific. And just like that, the person they had been anticipating walked in. Lil Scrappy made his entrance with that unmistakable swagger he was known for. He stepped into the club like he owned it, smiling big, dapping up fans, hugging people he knew, and soaking up the attention. His energy hit the room hard. People turned toward him instantly, caught up in his vibe. He laughed loudly, posed for pictures, raised glasses with fans. It was Scrappy being Scrappy. Everyone around him was feeding off his confidence, and the whole atmosphere shifted in his direction. But while most of the club was drawn to the excitement Scrappy brought, a few people started to notice something else entirely. Over in the VIP section, Kirk and Joc hadn't taken their eyes off him. They weren't just watching, they were analyzing every move he made. There was no smile, no drink raised in acknowledgement. Just two men watching closely, silently. The tension was subtle at first. One dancer near the bar stopped mid-twerk to glance toward Scrappy's area. A few security guards subtly repositioned themselves. Even the DJ seemed to slow down the beat, like he felt something might be coming. Back in the booth, things got even quieter. Kirk leaned over to speak again, this time in an even lower tone. Joc nodded, checked his phone briefly, then looked up and scanned the room. His expression was serious now, no games. He gave a quick gesture toward Scrappy's section. Kirk followed the movement, narrowing his eyes, still locked in focus. A waitress approached with another bottle, but hesitated as she neared them. She could sense the shift in energy, too. Without saying a word, she gently placed the bottle down and stepped away. Even she didn't want to interrupt whatever was happening. By now, a few people nearby had picked up on the vibe. Phones weren't out yet, but the real ones in the room, the ones who knew how to read energy, knew something was brewing. Scrappy, still laughing, paused when one of his friends leaned in and whispered something. Then he glanced over his shoulder, locking eyes with Kirk and Joc's booth. It was just a second, but it was enough. The mood changed. He realized what was happening. They weren't just watching, they'd been waiting. And now, whatever was coming next had officially begun.
Let me go. Look at me. Look at me. Let me go. Look at me. Look at me.
Man, I am frustrated, irritated, man.
It didn't take long for the tension to boil over. Kirk and Yung Joc finally rose from their VIP booth and began walking straight through the crowd. The vibe in the club shifted immediately. Nobody had to say anything. People just knew something was about to go down. As they made their way forward, the crowd parted, giving them space without a word. There wasn't any shouting yet, but their presence alone was loud enough. Near the center of the dance floor, Lil Scrappy was still hanging, with his crew, laughing and enjoying the night. But it didn't take long for him to notice Kirk and Joc approaching. He turned and gave a simple nod, trying to keep things chill. "What's up?" he asked, casually opening his arms. His tone wasn't aggressive, just curious, maybe a little wary. He knew something was up but didn't want to jump to conclusions. But Joc didn't crack a smile. Kirk didn't nod back. They just stood close, real close, the kind of close where personal space didn't exist. The music kept playing, but now it felt like background noise compared to the tension thick in the air. Joc leaned in first, his voice low but firm. "We heard what you said, Scrap. You've been talking too much," he said, eyes locked on Scrappy. Scrappy's face tightened in confusion. "Talking about what?" he asked, clearly caught off guard. Kirk didn't wait. He stepped in with his own words. "You know exactly what. Smiling in our faces, then talking slick behind our backs, playing both sides." That's when Kirk pulled out his phone, holding it up like it was undeniable proof. "You think this wasn't going to make it back to us? We got the receipts." Joc added fuel to the fire. "You were at the studio last week, running your mouth. Thought folks were loyal to you? Nah, they sent us everything." Scrappy looked from the phone back to Kirk, his voice rising just a bit. "That ain't even the full story. Y'all pulling things out of context. I said what I said, but not like that. You twisting it." Kirk didn't budge. "Context or not? You said it. Period." Now it wasn't just a conversation. It was personal. Scrappy's usual calm was gone, his face red with frustration. "Y'all acting like I've been fake, but I've been real with both of you more times than I can count," he shot back. "You think I'm scared of screenshots? Half of y'all fake anyway. Ain't nobody real out here anymore." That's when the whole room really took notice. The music got turned down, phones started recording, people who hadn't been paying attention before were suddenly focused. Security edged in closer, not interfering yet, but clearly watching the scene unfold. Scrappy pointed at Kirk's phone. "You want to show people that? Then show the rest. Show what you said. Show how y'all were talking sideways about me when I wasn't around." That hit different. Joc stepped toward him, ready to respond, but Kirk stopped him with a hand on his chest. "Let him talk. Let it all out." But Scrappy wasn't. Calming down. "I held y'all down," he shouted, "and now a few twisted words got y'all ready to throw it all away?" By now, a tight crowd had formed around them, not close enough to interrupt, but close enough to witness every word. This wasn't just about rumors or gossip anymore. It was about loyalty, pride, and broken trust. The flashing lights, the heavy bass, and the rising tension turned the whole moment into something unforgettable. It was clear. This situation was seconds away from exploding.
I have nobody if y'all ain't with me. I don't have nobody.
I'm okay.
Like all that talking, cuz I need y'all to show me, cuz, for real.
Scrappy wasn't stepping back, and neither was Joc. Their voices were getting louder, and the argument was reaching its breaking point. Scrappy moved in until there was barely any space left between them, practically nose to nose. Joc stood his ground, not flinching. Kirk quickly closed the distance too, standing beside Joc, shoulder to shoulder. He leaned toward Scrappy and gave a final warning. "You might want to back off before this turns into something serious." But Scrappy wasn't hearing it. "It already is," he shot back, his voice sharp and steady. That's when things tipped over. Joc made a slight move forward, just enough to set Scrappy off. Without hesitation, Scrappy shoved Joc hard in the chest. Joc stumbled, knocking into someone nearby. A drink flew from a table and a glass smashed on the floor. The music hadn't even stopped yet before the place exploded into chaos. Kirk lunged forward, and suddenly, everything was moving fast. One of Scrappy's friends grabbed him, trying to pull him back, but that only made things worse. Another guy from Scrappy's crew slipped while trying to help, bumping into another VIP. Drinks were spilling, chairs were tipping, and the crowd that had just been watching was now caught in the madness. People started screaming, phones were raised high in the air, recording everything as it unfolded. The dance floor turned into a storm of flashing lights, shouts, and confusion. Security didn't wait. Bouncers in black rushed in from all sides. One yanked Kirk away, pulling him out of the chaos. Another stepped between Scrappy and Joc before it turned into punches. But Scrappy's group wasn't done. One of them shoved a guard and yelled, "Don't touch him like that." the security team responded quickly, using force to break them apart. A woman shrieked as a drink spilled on her dress. Tables were shoved, chairs knocked over. Scrappy's section, once full of celebration, now looked like a tornado had hit.
Mean that.
As the tension started to ease, the club staff jumped into action, moving in behind the security team. They helped clear the area, guided people away from the mess, and carefully picked up shattered glass to keep other guests safe. The DJ, sensing things had gone too far, cut the music completely. For a moment, the entire club fell silent, except for some yelling near the entrance. Kirk and Joc were let out through a side door, each flanked by security. No one spoke, but their tight jaws and hard stares said it all. At the same time, Scrappy's crew was being pulled in the other direction. One of his boys grabbed his arm and said quietly, "Not here, let it go." Outside the venue, the drama didn't stop. People who had witnessed the chaos started posting, instantly. Clips from different angles flooded social media. Some had captions like, "Yo, Scrappy and Joc just went at it." One short video had thousands of views within minutes. Others jumped in with opinions. Some blamed Joc and Kirk for stirring things up, while others felt Scrappy took it too far. Regardless of who was at fault, the incident was now all over the internet. What lasted just seconds inside the club could lead to lasting effects. Kirk and Joc have business ventures all over Atlanta. Scrappy has deals, music projects, and club appearances on his schedule. With this kind of public drama, it's no longer just about a heated moment. We're talking about broken partnerships, lost money, and even legal problems if charges come into play. So, what's your take on this wild night? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates.